Rural England in the 1930s, in the county of Northamptonshire, was a small village with an ironworks providing its main employment. Stewart and Lloyds decided to build the steelworks to exploit the rich seam of iron ore. But where would the workers come from? And so began the first wave of immigration to Corby. Thousands of men looking for work, and shortly afterwards, their families. The majority came from Scotland, and by 1960, the Tartan Army made up a third of the 60,000 population. At first, they weren't welcome. Locals couldn't understand their accent and objected to the sound of bagpipes. But Scottish culture and tradition shaped the town, which became known as Little Scotland. In 2001, there was still 1 in 5 Scots in Corby. How do you think things stand in 2007?
Let's play
How English
Are You? Hello and welcome to the game show that finds out how English we really are. Tonight we are in the heart of rural England.
in Corby, Northamptonshire. Corby, a town much in the news. More in Corby, they claim. More what? Asked the prison service. Certainly not ethnic diversity. For Corby is one of the few white towns in a multicultural East Midlands. To understand this phenomenon, we did our research. Back in the 30s, when the town doubled its population from 5 to 10,000, Stewart's and Lloyds, the town's main employer, actually operated a no blacks policy. The result? In 2007, a town which is not considered ethnically diverse enough for the prison service to stay here.
So, how English are they in Corby? I am Lee Doherty.
And I am Linda Kilpatrick.
Let's meet our contestants. Welcome, contestants. We will ask you a series of questions. If the answer is no, please turn off your camera.
Was your mother born in England?
Your father?
Your mother's mother?
Your mother's father?
Your father's mother?
Your father's father?
Not so English after all.
Let's hear it for our English contestant and our winner.
Please answer the following questions. Where was William Shakespeare born?
London.
Wrong. Stratford-upon-Avon.
What is Queen Elizabeth's surname?
Windsor.
Correct.
Between which two counties was the War of the Roses?
Manchester and Leeds.
Suppose that's half right. It's Yorkshire and Lancashire.
Which team did the BNP support in the last World Cup?
England, of course.
Wrong. They supported Denmark, the only all-white team in the competition, sponsored by Daz, for whites you can be proud of. Round 2. Let's bring back our contestants.
Since our contestants this evening are all white, where the devil are you from?
If not English, perhaps British.
For this round, we have 5 destinations. England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and other.
Please indicate your country of birth.
Now the country where your mother was born.
Your father?
Your mother's mother.
Your mother's father.
Your your father's mother?
Your father's father.
Very interesting. A very mobile population. Please turn your camera off for round 3. If you have any Scottish ancestors, please turn the camera on.
If you have any Irish ancestors, please turn your camera on.
If you have any Welsh ancestors, please hold up the Welsh flag.
If you have any ancestors from anywhere else, please indicate now. No surprise there then. Looks like there are still a lot of Scottish and Irish roots, but a high proportion of Polish too.
How do our contestants compare with our studio audience? You can fill in the poll in the chat window and we'll announce it at the end.
Thank you for taking part in How English Are You? Till next time.
Let's look more closely at the 5% who have other roots. Who are these foreigners? Where do they come from?
The 2001 census tells us that only 0.9% of our population are from minority ethnic communities.
But Corby has 33 languages currently spoken and is a home to an estimated 50 nationalities.
The tick boxes on the census forms do not pick up this long-standing diversity.
We may be known as Little Scotland, but a lot of Poles, Latvians and Lithuanians were caught up in the crossfire of World War II and ended up here as displaced persons.
And of course there were Italian prisoners of war and American servicemen, all adding to the ethnic mix that gives Corby its vibrancy.
I grew up in Corby in the 50s and 60s, and apart from Alec and Glenda McLean, Eileen Keenahan, Fanula Coleman, Gwenda Jones, Barbara Hughes, my classmates had names like Crummins, Kanawa, Gricknick, Malankovich, Malik, Strauss, Jakowska and Diorio. It never occurred to me that they were foreigners, they were just my friends.
Corby is clearly a town people come to, but where from?
In 1972, the Pujara family were expelled from Uganda by Idi Amin.
In 1973, the Ramirez family fled Pinochet's torture and repression in Chile.
In 1974, Galits and Kansai arrived as refugees from Cyprus after the Turks took over.
As long as there is war, there will be refugees, and many of them will be children who our children sit next to in school.
12-year-old Sally arrives as an asylum seeker from Croatia, fleeing the battleground of war.
11-year-old Giulietta is a foster child here in Corby, having fled the terrible persecution of the gypsies in Romania.
Others came for work, just like the steelworkers in the 30s.
Lee, a doctor from Beijing, came here to introduce Chinese medicine to the West.
Doreen came from Jamaica. Her husband was an engineer in the steelworks.
Brooks' family came from Australia for work. Her dad's an electrician.
Mika's family left the poverty of Nepal behind and run the corner shop up Danesholme.
That's fine, one of each. But since 2004, workers from 10 new EU member states have been coming in big numbers, especially from Poland.
When they first came to the town, no one really noticed them. Well, you wouldn't, would you? Far too busy getting on with our own lives to notice things like that. Besides, there were only 1 or 2 of them, so what harm could they do? Employers love having them here, though. They still do. Well, can we really blame them? After all, they guarantee an endless supply of cheap labour. In the town as a whole, it was the college students that were the first to warm to them. Of course, they wouldn't have to live with them after they graduated and walked into their 30,000 plus salaries, would they? If only we had known then what we know now, we might have been able to stop the flood of them into the town. I mean, you can't walk through the town centre these days without passing one of them every few yards. and they're here to stay, mark my words. They're not going anywhere. They come here, stealing our jobs, driving wages down. They're in every factory, making up anything from 20 to 60% of the workforce. In some places, it's even higher. Parasites on the economic landscape. I overheard someone say the other day in a cafe, safe enough to say their presence in the town isn't exactly bringing out the liberal in people. And they're so cliquey, thick as thieves they are. Rub one of them up the wrong way and they all gang up on you. There's so many in this town now, they basically own it. They control nearly all the jobs in the town, and yet they're still not satisfied. More keep coming.
Hang on a minute. This is pure racist bile you're spouting. EU citizens have the right to come here to work. And they are really reliable workers too. So stop slagging them off.
Workers? I'm not slagging off the workers. I'm talking about the agencies. In fact, a new one opened a few weeks back. Paying, yeah, you guessed it, minimum wage minus deductions, called Jobs Are Us. Are the people of Corby ever going to stand up to these abusive employers? It's time Mr. McPherson and Mr. Gricknick got together and ran these employment agencies out of the town. I mean, talking to my granddad, he told me about proper jobs, a job for life, comrades, workmates, common trades and skills to bind you together. That has all gone. All that's left is occasional work from the agencies. Call that progress? We've gone backwards, not forwards, back to the days of the dockers standing in pens on the docks, waiting to be picked for a day's labour.
We interviewed Anna, a Polish barmaid, to find out how life was for Corby's new workers in 2007.
Why did she come here? There was no work for her as an environmental science graduate or any opportunity of living away from home. So to gain experience and become independent, she followed the example of friends and family and took the opportunity to go and work in England. Her English wasn't bad, so she headed for Corby, believing that it would all work out fine.
We asked her about finding work. Like everyone else, she signed on with an agency, registered as a worker with the Home Office and paid £90 for a work permit. Straight away, she was given a job in a factory full of Polish workers. She didn't realise that they were being paid less and exploited by the agencies. She was just happy to be earning in a week what would have taken a month to earn in Poland.
Where did she live? In one room with a double bed, sharing, working opposite shifts to get a turn to sleep. Just like the Scots back in the 30s, it was like history repeating itself. Unscrupulous landlords, being ripped off by someone agreeing to find you a house and then ending up sharing it with 10 others, mainly noisy, drunken men. No one could afford their own place.
We asked her, did she feel welcome? She said it was hostile in the factories if she ever spoke Polish, but things were worse in her second job as a barmaid. Drunken people would be abusive to her, but she would stand up for herself and say, I live, work and pay taxes in this country. She knew a lot of foreign workers who did experience racist abuse. But as she said, the majority of people in this town are from somewhere else. Once they remember how they were treated when they first arrived, they soon shut up.
We asked her what she missed the most. The one thing she was very glad of was the big Polish shelf in Asda, because she says the English food is disgusting.
By 2011, a third of non-British white people in the town were Polish. History repeats itself. A Scottish woman who has lived in Corby for 60 years said,
I can't understand a word they're saying.
And now, 10 years later, we've just left the EU. Many workers have returned to Poland. But how is life for those who have made Corby their home? Let's ask our Polish friends. Maria, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry, dzień dobry.
Milena, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
Kasia, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry, hello.
Hello. So thank you for joining us. I'm just going to ask you how it is for you now in Corby in 2021. We heard Anna's story. So Maria, can I start with you? Why and when did you come to Corby?
I came in 1990. I got married to an Englishman. So life in London was too expensive. So we moved to Corby, where my husband's friend lived.
Okay, Milena, why and when did you come to Corby?
I came to Corby 2006 because I want to collect money for my wedding.
And you stayed?
I've stayed, yes.
That happens here. We never escape once we arrive. So Kasia, when and why did you come to Corby?
I came to Corby from Poland 12 years ago. And, you know, I had strange life in Poland and my friends helped me and I coming here. Now I am happy.
Good. Okay. So I'd like to say about working and the language. You know, you come here for a job, it's a different language. How was the language, Maria?
Okay, I came, first time I came to England in the 70s, okay, and I was, after I finished my second year of English studies at Polish University, and it was really hard because I thought I knew English. I learned it for 8 years before. I studied it in English. And suddenly everything was completely different. I couldn't understand a word they were saying, you know, all the different accents, and it all came in one gloop when they were speaking.
Gloop?
Yeah, gloop. Okay. Co miałyście na obiad dzisiaj?
No, mówiłam dziewczynki łososia na śmietanie z kluseczkami. Bardzo szybkie, fajne, ładne danie. Mogę podać później przepis.
Okej, a ty,
Dobrze,
Kasia?
już szybko mówcie,
Kasia,
zakończajmy. No.
Tak?
Pierogi miałam.
Pierogi.
Chcę strasznie już do domu, tak. Pierogi, tak.
Yeah.
Gloop, I see. Gloop.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes, it is.
did you find a job, Maria?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy because I took many different jobs in my career before I finally found my place with teaching English in the end, teaching and translating. Okay, so I worked in an office, I worked in a shop, I worked in a factory as well. Okay.
Okay. Milena, how was the language for you and how did you find a job?
When I came to England first time, I not speak English at all. One sentence what I know, it was I'm looking for a job. And it was very funny because before I was working 4 years on Italy, and when I came here, I was mix up English, Italian language and Polish, and actually I not speak nothing on English. But I go to agency, I asked a lady for job, and I was surprised because I found the jobs from one day actually, because when I said to lady I'm looking for a job, she said, okay, I give you my number, I call you when I found a job for you. And next day I got the phone and they offered me job. That's for me, it was really surprise because I not expect I found job so quick without the language.
Good. Okay. And Kasia, did you find a job easily and how was the language for you?
When I coming to England, no language, just Polish. Yeah, just Polish. But my friends, what helped me, yeah, found me a job. And this is my first job in factory vegetables, yeah. And 1 week only I sit in England, no job. But after 1 week I'm very, very happy because I wait only 1 week, you know. Yeah, and I working. Yeah, very lucky, very lucky. Yeah.
And could you understand what was being asked in the factory where you worked?
No, nothing understand. No, only Polish. They ask me everything, but I only like that. I don't know. No, yes, no. You know what I mean? They ask me about me, but I only know about my names, surnames, names, and from my name, yeah, from Poland. But nothing I understand more.
Were there other Polish workers in the factory who could translate for you?
Yeah. Lots of people is from Poland or from different countries in factories and translate. Yeah, help me. Yeah, exactly.
And
1 month. Yeah.
Pointing all the time.
Okay.
Maria, can I ask you about finding accommodation? How did you find somewhere to live?
Okay, obviously I got married and we lived in London to start with, but then we came to live with our friends or my husband's friends in Corby. So we slept on the floor on a mattress for a few months, and it was very hard because it was really messy, very messy household. So we were not very lucky. But then we rented a house and then got our own house, so it was fine.
Okay, lovely. Milena, what was it like finding somewhere to live?
For me, it was actually easy because I have my friends here. He living 2 years on Corby, and he found me one room on Polish family on historic street, Stevenson Way, and this was my first room. And room it was double room with double bed, and family it was alright. And after when we working little bit longer, we just rent the house, and now we have our house, which my family, and it's all right.
Good. Okay. And Kasia, did you find accommodation easily?
Yeah, as well. When I coming here, help me my friends. They had a house, big house, and I rent a room with my children. Yeah, and I live 6 months, and after 6 months, I go to agency, Cunningham's, and I rent for myself a nice house, 2-bedroom, and we live nice.
Good. Good. That's good to hear. Very different from when Anna arrived. I think it's
yeah, different.
in
Yes,
her
it's
story.
true.
She said nobody could afford yet to rent their own places. So, so yeah, that sounds like everything's working for you. But did any of you ever experience abuse or racism for being Polish or for being foreigners? So Maria, let's start with you.
As I say, I came here 30 years ago, so it wasn't, I can't say that it was open racism, but it was like in the background sort of thing. When I came to Corby, there were no foreigners here, and the locals seemed to be sort of different. They thought, I didn't think I was different, but they thought I was different, and it was very hard to form friendships, and that was very difficult for me because I'm a sociable person. I couldn't really live without other people. So when I got pregnant, it was a bit better because it's like camaraderie between among women. Also, Pen Green Center was very helpful. There were lots of activities there to do. But the massive breakthrough for me came in 2004, where thanks to Tony Blair, thank you very much, wherever you are, he let the borders open, and lots of Polish people came. And since then, I could do what I'm qualified for, teaching English, translating, interpreting. And at the moment, it's great. I've got lots of work and lots of friends.
Good. I'm glad that worked out for you. Milena, did you experience any racism or abuse?
Actually, I have just one. Just I wanna start from here, where I came to England. The border is open, and lots of Polish people came to here. And actually, I not feel like a foreigner. I traveling before lots of Europe, and I feel like everywhere at home. And even here on Corby. But it's one situation. It was changed my mind and my thinking about people, because one day we back from the work on the short way between the bush. It was Friday, and the English teenager, they was drinking and smoking cigarettes, and they asked my husband for cigarettes, but because we're not smoking, we not have. And they start, this English teenagers start swearing and say some bad words. I couldn't understand what, but I say to my husband, please not answer, and we just go, because I was scared, and one boy was split on my back, and I was start be scared from this moment, and I start hearing a story about which part of Corby is dangerous, what's happened on a park or something. And yeah, this moment I changed a little bit my thinking about the people here, but I know it's not everybody is bad, and this was one single situation, and actually for this moment I feel comfortable and good on Corby.
That's good. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Sometimes happen.
And Kasia, what about you? Have you had any racism or abuse?
Yeah, when my children, 2 children, 10 and 12 years, go to school, no language, no friends, just alone. And from school children, English children, don't like my children because don't understand, you know, language, and slap for face, yeah, or push for stairs. 3 months like that. We had bad time. But, you know, after 3 months, everything very good, because children understand English a little bit and had friends, English, and from Latvia, from Romania, and everything okay. Now in the moment is very good. Yeah, lots of time go, but now is very good for us. But
That's
before,
good.
bad time for us before we had, yeah.
I know I was working in a school recently, and it's one where there's a lot of children with English as an additional language, and they were trying to understand a little Russian girl. She didn't have any English, and they asked the Polish boy to translate, and he was very, you know, because to others it's like they all speak foreign, you know, it was
Yeah.
like that, and he was very firm. He said, I'm Polish, not Russian, it's different, you know. So Maria, I don't know whether, well, all three of you, whether you agree with Anna about the food being disgusting in England. She only had a shelf in Asda. How has that changed? And, you know, what is it that you miss that is different? What's the real difference between?
So again, Anna was very lucky to have a shelf in Asda. You know, I'm a bit like in a Monty Python sketch. She was really lucky, you know, because when I came to Corby 1990, there was nothing. No, you know, not even a shelf in Asda. To get Polish food, we had to go to Wellingborough. There was a small shop, Polish shop in Wellingborough, and also there was Pani Zosia in Peterborough, who had a stall in the market. So that was really like a celebration if I could get some Polish stuff there. And then so later on, yeah, obviously when in 2004, they started to open Polish shops. So now there are quite a few Polish shops, so I can always buy stuff there. So Polish food is fine, you know, at the moment. So I don't miss it that much. But you know, there are just different things happen in Poland and in England, different sort of attitudes sometimes, you know. For example, when I first came to England, I lived with an English family, and it was in London, and my friend came to see me, and then there was dinner about 6 p.m. as usual, and I was really shocked and really embarrassed because we had dinner, and there were about 6-7 people invited to dinner, and the lady, the landlady, said, sorry, we don't have any dinner for your friend. It was like she was number 7 out of 6 people. And so I had to make her sandwich, okay? So we were all eating dinner and she was eating a sandwich, okay? So so that was shocking, okay? And also another similar thing happened when I and my husband, we were invited to a wedding reception. So that was sort of lunchtime, about 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So as usual in Poland, you know, when you're invited to a party, you basically don't eat anything before, because there will be so much to eat that you just, there's no point in eating anything at home. So I just had light breakfast and then no lunch. And we go there, we bought them a nice present, and to eat, it was just one biggish plate of canapes, small canapes, for about 30 people, okay? So maybe we had one canapé each, okay? And nothing else, okay? So okay. So and we had to buy our own drinks as well. That was shocking in the pub, okay? No alcohol, no drinks put out. So compared to Poland, it's just like a complete and utter shock. And, you know, it's very strange. Okay, in Poland, you are invited to a party. The host provides everything, food, loads of food, too much to drink. Okay, so that was shocking. Okay, and obviously I'm missing my friends in Poland, but I go to see them, so it's not bad, not bad.
Well, I hope that if you found yourself in Corby taking a friend along, that we would share our food. I think there's a north-south thing there, and we're the sort of community that comes from maybe a poorer background, where it doesn't matter how much you have, you share it between. So I think maybe you had a London experience, but
yes, I did. In fact, you know, I made some friends from the north. So they were just like in Poland,
yeah,
you know,
just generous.
It was just completely different attitude.
Yeah, Milena, is this anything that the same for you, or what do you miss that's different?
I agree with Anna. Is English food is disgusting, but you know, of course, when I came, there was lots of Polish shop and lots of shelf on us down Polish food, and actually, I not miss this food because I can buy everything from shop. But I remember different between Poland and here. On 2 taps on toilet, yeah, where we wash the hands. We need switch on 2 taps, one hot and one cold water. I always laughing first time. What I need to do first? Clean my hands with cold water or hot water, you know? Because on Poland we have 1 tap, and this was very funny for me. Another time I laughing when I see 2 taps on toilet.
Yeah. I've had somebody say, why don't you have mixer taps in England? And of course, we've grown up with hot and cold. It's like, yeah. So Kasia, how was it for you? What's different? Food, you know?
In Poland is different breakfast like in England. Yeah, when I coming here and I go restaurant first time, I take card and I see full breakfast, English breakfast, Scottish breakfast. What I must take? Yeah. Okay, I take full breakfast English. And woman put me nice big plate, yeah, and in there is sausage, bacon, hash brown, and beans, tomato, mushrooms, everything very big. I'm shocked because in Poland we eat only, you know, for example, porridge only, or for example, egg, bread with butter, yeah, and that's it. But here, lots. Who eats like that, yeah? But I eat everything. And second situation, for example, window, yeah, at home. In Poland, we always open window inside, yeah? But England, we open window outside. And I shock as well because, oh my God, how I will be clean this window? Because in Poland, I only clean window. But here, coming special people and, you know, clean, but I don't know about before. And I want clean, but how? Because, you know, window is open outside. Very strange for me and hard work.
Well, something I haven't realised that difference. And there was just one more thing I remember when we spoke before, Milena, something about your a difference with the name days. What was the name day, Maria?
It was the thing is in Catholic countries like Poland is you tend to celebrate your patron saint's day. Okay, so it's for example, you know, my name is Maria, and in fact, my name day can be in every month of the year. So I can choose when to celebrate my name day. But for example, Anna, okay, would celebrate on 26th of July, okay?
With all the other Annas.
Christina would celebrate on Christina and Bożena would celebrate on 13th of March. So in a way, it's good because if you got a friend called Anna, you know, their name day is
Okay.
when it is. You don't have to rely on Facebook like I do, okay, to find out when somebody has got a birthday, okay. I mean,
so Milena, that was different
yeah.
for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was, because actually on Poland is we not have son named Milena, and you know, all the people, they always celebrate they name names, but I'm not, because I can find on all calendar my name. And when I came here, I was finally happy because I can celebrate my birthday every year, and this was really they make me happy here, you know.
Well, that's a lovely way to finish. Anyway, thank you all very much for taking part in our remake of Foreigners, Bloody Foreigners. And Maria, did you want to have the last word?
Yes, I just want to thank Anna, wherever you are, Anna. Thank you for taking part in the play. Thanks to you, we can now participate in this. So good luck to wherever you are, and do widzenia. Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.